So why do you think it is that so many members of the white community have gone along with this? I mean, it would be one thing to say, back in 1965, that huge swaths of Americans had acknowledged their guilt because they had, in fact, been complicit in racism. I was born in 1984, so I was born 20 years after the Civil Rights Act. And I frankly don't feel racial guilt because I don't believe that I've acted in racially intolerant ways. But you see huge swaths of particularly young white Americans who are going along with this and browbeating and browbeating others, engaging in Maoist struggle sessions in which they confess their own guilt for complicity in a systemically racist system. What do you think is the attraction for white Americans to go along with a narrative where they are inherently the victimizers?
What happened to white America when America confessed its wrongdoing is that America endured at that moment a tremendous loss of moral authority. And it's just human. When you confess, I did it, all right, I'm sorry, whatever. Well, okay, now you will pay a price. And that is what happened to white America, is that they were judged to be racist. They had colluded with evil, and so now they lived under the accusation that they were racist and that they had been a part of this. And so they may have done absolutely nothing to justify feeling guilty whatsoever. White guilt has no connection whatsoever to personal feelings. It is a circumstance that you are living in a society that does not trust you, that has this against you, that holds this history against you. And so what whites then have to struggle for and have since the 60s is their innocence of racism, of proving, oh, not me, I'm not a racist. And that need to prove is what blacks take advantage of. Okay, then do this and do that and so forth and so on, and change your curriculum here and start an HR program there, have another, so forth and so on. And whites do it because they want that innocence. They want to be able to say, look, I supported affirmative action. I'm all for it. I support diversity. Let's have different colored faces in everything we do, so that we can prove we are innocent of that historical accusation that we are evil racists. Anything to get away from that. And so, that one race begins to enable another race. We have a sort of a symbiotic connection. Whites exploiting blacks all over again in order this time to recapture some innocence and power. Blacks sort of selling themselves out to guilty whites in order to have the illusion that victimization is their power and so forth. So it gets to be a kind of sad symbiosis that we are caught in, and we never honestly talk about it. But we're all nervous about it. We're all nervous, and we all hope for the best, I think. But history is powerful, and America has a very unique history. We're far, far ahead of much of the rest of the world in this regard, but we have a long way to go.
It seems like there's something else that has happened here too, and that's not just that there's an attempt by both guilty whites and some Black Americans to push for particular policy prescriptions and sort of gimmies, but there's something now that's going on that's completely, I think, unprecedented, which is that you're only declared to be not racist for a certain period of time if you acknowledge your racism. So in other words, if you say as a white person, I'm not racist, I'm colorblind, and I see everybody as an individual, this is in fact used as evidence of your racism. Whereas if you then declare that you are in fact a racist by dint of the color of your skin and through racial essentialization, then you are not racist, but you are also racist because you just acknowledged that you're racist. So it's a complete catch-22. There's literally no way for white Americans to escape the charges of racism. Either you admit that you're a racist, in which case we say, okay, well, at least you were honest enough to admit you're a racist, but that means you're kind of a racist because you just admitted it, or you won't acknowledge your own racism, in which case we absolutely 100% know that you're a racist.
That's right. And that power, the power to put whites in that position is what black power is the power that comes from our moral authority as victims, as historical victims. And so we enjoy sort of squeezing whites in this impossible circumstance. But it helps, it obviously, whites do not have, at this moment in America, I'm speaking broad terms here, whites do not have the moral confidence to resist this, to say, hey, call me a racist, whatever you want. I believe this. I stand by this. And I'll argue on the terms of whatever it is I stand by. I'm not going to be blackmailed, intimidated, about simply being white and simply having a connection to people in the past who were also white does not mean that I am evil and that I am a racist. If you can't accept that, too bad. Whites simply do not in America have the moral confidence to do that, to say that. That's why we're stuck. When whites begin to rediscover their confidence, and accept the fact that they are not racists and that they want to treat everybody as individuals, and they practice that, race problem will be over. Black power will be over. We'll have to take victimization and go home. It doesn't work anymore. Right now, it's just whites this morning, Amazon canceled the film that I just am coming out with, just as they gave $10 million to Black Lives Matter and other left-wing black groups. Well, that's white guilt. They don't believe in the money that they gave. They don't care what they do with the money. They are buying their own innocence. They're saying our brand is not racist. If you give money to Shelby Steele, or you just even put his film up on your platform, you're a bigot, you're a racist, you're a horrible person, so forth. Well, I suffer today from the lack of confidence that whites have. That now is a big problem in my life and in my work. I'm someone who grew up fighting against segregation. Now I'm fighting against it all over again.
I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Ben Shapiro Show Sunday Special. If you did, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you stay up to date on all of our future content.